what you're saying and the licensing, like everything. And not that these people that are going to this show and saying, hey, I was a painter at SEMA, just because they were told, hey, fill up our booth, or be there. Be honest with yourself and earn your way and say, hey, is my work really up to par? Am I really offering something of quality? Can I stand behind it? That's the success that is going to push on through, not the lies, not the falseness of like, yeah, man, I was this painter at SEMA, and then next week they're jumped onto another thing. And that bugs me more than anything when someone says today, this is the best product you're ever going to use, and next week they're using something else.
All right, welcome. I'm so excited about this episode because I've got one of my best friends, Dave Monnig. Dave Monnig from Coast Airbrush. We go back over 35 years, and we're going to talk about some great stuff today. It's going to help you not only in your business, but a life of purpose. The show's called Creating a Life by Design, and a life of success and massive impact and a lot of responsibility. And all of that is a life by design, because if you're not living a plan, you're a target in this world and you're just going to get bombarded. So I'm excited for what everybody's going to learn today and discover what they can apply in their own life. But the thing about you and I that I love is how much history and what we've got to witness in each other's lives, and because we're running in the same industry. So that's been really fun. And I just want to say thank you for taking this time, because I know it's going to be a blessing. And we got some exciting news and announcements to make as well. But let's start off, go back to the beginning.
Oh, boy.
Because we have a funny story. Well, we're both 80s kids. So we both love 80s movies. And in the trials, especially, what got us through those times? One-liners from 80s movies. But I go all the way back to the beginning when we first met at that trade show, and you thought something of me.
Oh, yes.
But what trade show was it? What were we doing?
It was not a Tools of the Trade. I think it was something like that. Like
it's up in Pasadena.
Yeah, and you had said, hey, I really like what you're doing, and I'd like to be on your team. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Who's this, charismatic character, if you will, tall.
But you were working with Vince.
I was working with a lot of people at the time.
I think
Airbrush Action.
Yeah, I think it was Createx. Yeah, you were at Createx down this booth.
Yeah,
and if you know Dave, and you'll probably hear him on this episode. But dude, he has got nobody's blessed a man more with the gift of gab. Like when you get to heaven, you'll be like, hey, what was his spiritual gift? The gift of gab. But you love people, and I remember seeing you on that floor just talking like crazy, like every single person that came by, you would give them the talk about the product.
Yep.
But I'm like, he's talking to each person as if they are the only person in the room. And you started all the way back at the beginning with every single person. And so it was really special to see how intentional you were. But what I admired, and I think what drew me, I'm like, dude, I see myself and him, where he's like, he really wants to make something happen.
Yes.
And when we came together, I think it was like, bro, we both want to build.
Yes.
We both want to do stuff. No social media, no websites, no web at all at that time. Life was analog, and you and I both came from pretty dysfunctional, crazy backgrounds.
Brokenness.
And so communication for you and I was old school. It was like, you got to do business person to person, man to man, in contact.
That's how it was done back then.
Yeah. So unpack that a little bit more of like, we both met, we both wanted to grow, but what was Coast Airbrush? Let everybody know like who you are, where you came from, and what it was. You and your dad, the whole thing.
It was generational. My grandfather didn't speak a lot, but we had a family garage. And then my dad just, as you say, when we're selling to people, we should actually have a button that says shut off, So
yeah, but remember when your dad would have, what's this? And you can have that. What was that?
All the little tricks. My dad was always like, lighting up rubber dog poop on the ground. And
yes.
Doing
He's a prankster.
Now as a Christian, I look back and say, I should not have been doing. So, I'm going to answer to that, I'm sure. And I don't know what I'm going to say to the Lord. I'm going to say, well, Lord, here that was then and this is now. Yeah. But that was the gift of the gab. And that's that's all I knew, watching with my father and how they treated customers with their family garage. Honesty. It was brutal honesty. And what was interesting to me as a young man is how many people loved my grandfather and my dad. They trusted him. And now as we talk about our journey together, it's got into a time, we're in a time where trusting but verify. It's hard to trust people. They don't want to take that risk because it costs them. It really costs. And so that's where I really noticed in my father, like what I could do. And I had fear as my motivation. So that all my friends that I went to a pretty, wealthy high school, if you will, wealthy area, but we weren't wealthy. And so they all got to go to USC and UCLA. And although I aspired to want to do that, and I had a flying career that I, was doing at the time, that was my backup plan, but I couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford to go to college either. I moved out when I was 17 and just living on a couch to finish, high school. What am I going to do? I'm not going to show up to my high school reunion as that guy. I mean, no offense to gas pumpers, but that was in my mind at the time.
Yeah. Or ditch diggers.
Ditch digger, yeah. And so I said, I got to do something. And so when my dad and I started Coast together, I was like all in.
And this is Anaheim, California.
Yes. And we did it in front of the old shop, our family garage. Literally, we had classes in the greasy shop.
Dude, I remember hosting those classes.
Yeah.
We put up the tarps so that nobody could see the garage.
That's right. The grime.
You just brought that back. That
right?
is crazy.
But that's where the journey began.
Wow.
And, my dad could see me influenced by you, by the way, Noah. And that was the interesting thing is I saw this charismatic character who was an artist, and I'm more of a mechanical engineer type. I had to learn art, and still not a natural at it. My daughter is crazy enough, but not me. Yeah. And so watching you was that charismatic part of, it's like putting two things together. It's like putting salt and pepper together on a sandwich and it tastes better. Yeah. And so that's what it looked like for me is I got this guy, who I'm like, wow, he's so charismatic. He's such a great talent. And you're so full of life. But I also saw you starving for it. Like you really wanted it. Like when a band gets together and they're going to make great music because they're starving. Yeah. They want it.
Yeah. And they have passion.
And so I saw that passion in you. And I think that's what gravitated us toward each other.
Yeah. Well, Coast back then was really interesting because for those that are watching that don't know anything about airbrushing, and I don't want anybody to think that this is an episode about a tool that you have no idea about. One that's primarily about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
This is about creativity. This is about drive. This is about grit. And so airbrushing, the tool itself, just happened to be the product that we all revolved around.
I agree.
Right? So here's what's an interesting
Could have been toothbrushes or hairbrushes.
Could have been literally, it could have been anything.
I literally sold nail polish.
I remember.
You remember?
I remember.
I've been in the paint game long before,
Dude,
where I sold
remember.
nail polish and women were like throwing money at me, and here I am, this young kid, and that lady went on. SC Cosmetics went on to be like a billionaire. Yeah, and so
well, here's the interesting thing about the industry at that time. So I want everybody to understand the kind of what the culture and the landscape looked like at the time. So Dave was running Coast Airbrush out of Anaheim with his dad. That meant the airbrushes themselves, paints, inks, compressors, the equipment. So I want everybody to think about in any industry, you have the equipment. And with hairdressers, you've got beauty supply.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case with airbrushing and art, the interesting thing about airbrushing is that it had to do so many different areas. One, it could be nails, it could be spray tan or tanning spray. It could be automotive and doing big automotive illustration. Illustration was big, yeah, because graphic design and Photoshop wasn't out big yet. So everything was done by hand.
Magazine covers were done by Mark Fredrickson and guys like that. And Stanislav
so that was
Fernandez,
how we were all honing the craft of like all of that. But then there's a whole other side of business. So what was really cool was Dave would hold these events. You would hold the Coast parties, which were phenomenal because all the artists would get in there and then the public would come in.
I'd like to give credit to my father for that. And where that came from was literally the sign trade, which you're familiar with, which is pinstriping, lettering, and leafing. Letterheads, which I was just a little bit involved in, but my dad got it from Kim Dedick, a sign shop would throw an event, which was the Rat Fink reunions. You knew Ed Rock.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That's where it came from. So we have to give credit where credit's due. Yeah. My dad said, what a great idea. Let's do a Coast Airbrush party. So it was my dad's idea, not mine.
Well, the cool thing about that one was it started to create culture. And both of us were coming up at that time. And we were in our early 20s, dude. We're like 21, 22, 23. I went through a really traumatic early marriage that went sideways. And you were kind enough as we were going through this process. Life for us was build these companies, build these brands, teach these workshops together.
Yeah.
Travel the world doing these workshops.
Yeah, we did.
Doing a ton of stuff with Airbrush Action, which was phenomenal and great. Built a great community of legends in this this industry, a lot of which have passed away, which is unfortunate. But there was an interesting swell of building a brand, and that we got to watch each other go through the highs, the lows, the unexpected. I loved watching the store grow from a 500 square foot building to
700.
That's one room at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. Oh, that bathroom was brutal.
We stored product.
We stored product in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's maybe a little unsanitary now that I look back, but those were the 80s.
This product
we drank out of hoses.
No, it's
still.
like Seinfeld. Hey, this product has been flagged.
Yeah, we drank out. Yes, it has. It was the book in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah, so that was interesting to watch the progression of that grow, and then you also would come down after work, and then the studios that I was building that were expanding, and the galleries and things like that. But whether you were holding an event, whether I was holding an event at the gallery, we really wanted to take airbrushing and the stigma of back in the day is like, oh, airbrushing means a van that was being the 70s style airbrushing on the side of a van. And we wanted to take this thing to a whole nother level of not only sophistication, but worth and value. It's kind of like what Tiger Woods did with golf. We wanted to do it with the airbrush.
And if you got next to a gallery with an airbrush, they literally beat you up.
Yeah. They're like,
they
that's not even an art form.
Yeah. You were actually very shunned. It was like not even anywhere near accepted.
But what I really appreciated and what I loved was you and I would put our heads together when we did these classes, and we would be in the store. And you would be pushing the limit. I'd just sit there and watch you you would be regurgitating innovation. And so you'd be like, yeah, these House of Color is great. I love the system, but it's in these quart cans. And then you came up with this brilliant idea of systems of kits that were just incredible for the end user to be able to, the prosumer. I wouldn't call it like the total guy that's running a collision shop, but you're taking a guy that could be at his house and create an amazing helmet. You innovated and took what was there this whole time and made it into something that was really cool and applicable. And I just want to commend you on that innovation.
It was the start of something I had no idea that could grow. And
it was
really,
insane.
As we look back now as Christians and how God works in his ways and his timing, that my brother's death and that car that was painted with House of Color and the ability when we came back from New York,
I'll never forget
that was the longest air flight of my life, and buried my brother, for it to lead to him doing that jet ski, which is monumental. That changed the game. Literally when Craig Frazier, who was rooming with my dad, by the way, and found me wandering the halls when I heard at 3 a.m, my brother had passed. And long story short, that is where it began, Noah, is that I went to John Kosmosky nervous as a young man and asked him for permission to put this paint in small quantity because I could do something with this. So that was the engineering side of me morphing with the artist side in you and Craig Frazier, by the way, which got to mention, but that's where this all began. And although there was, like you said, other genres or things that we, parts of the industry, whether it be t-shirts or illustration, automotive took a foothold.
Big time.
And it exploded.
It
exploded.
Well, and so we had also the whole fine art thing when we started doing the custom canvases, when we started doing the classes on.
That was
really
bold.
where I got excited was, and I wanted to crack this code. I wanted to prove to the world.
Oh, you did.
in going to these coffee shops and painting live and all that.
Brilliant, by the way.
I wanted to help take what guys were doing, this hard-earned effort of like, you're doing this super sick portrait on the back of a t-shirt or a leather jacket. I'm like, bro, put that on a canvas and stop selling $200 items. Start selling it for $2,000 to $5,000.
And that's what you did. I was so awestruck by that. And then your ability to go into a coffee shop, and I'm going, this is before coffee was a big thing too.
That's correct.
And
Starbucks wasn't even out yet.
You might say that it helped build the coffee industry. I mean, when we look back, I can say that.
But it was a hotbed in Costa Mesa for
sure. It then morphed into like salons and other places, which we sat. Remember walking with Carrie Hart in the back of Coast and sitting down and just like designing the inside of Hart and Huntington. The tattoo industry, which was white walls with black and white artwork. Noah, you changed that. You changed the game. And I'm looking at that now and just going, how this is incredible, that two young kids without two pennies to rub together were so influential at doing these things, and they were so monumental.
Well, what we didn't realize, and it took later on in life to realize, God put us into extraordinary opportunities with extraordinary people. You look at Phil our good buddy Phil Shaler, who was out running marketing for the Hard Rock Hotel and being able to do the murals, Carrie being kind enough, and Thomas being kind enough to invite us into their world. But like Metal Militia doing those logos, everything with Jack back at Black Flies back in the early
Martinez.
90s. All of these trade shows and everything was people to people.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage those that are listening right now is one of the number one keys I would hope they take away from today is if you want to grow your personal brand, a brand is based on people. It's not going to be hidden behind tech or text message or even on social media. It's encountering and experiencing what a person has to offer, their story, and getting in front of them to do it. Like back then, most artists were painting unbelievable things that were worth thousands, if not millions of dollars. And they would be hope marketing that somebody would just show up at their event. I'm like, forget it. I'm flipping the script. I'm going to the people.
Yeah.
Go to Nordstrom, paint live. Go to that coffee shop, paint live. Go to the nightclub, set up on top of the bar.
I remember that.
Paint live and get in front of everybody.
I remember standing there talking to people.
You got to get in front of people.
While you painted so you weren't interrupted. I'm there selling your work.
Yeah.
And basically just the red ropes, which were like, it was so cheesy, it was so effective.
Yeah.
And we looked like $1 million, although we were worth,
that was always the goal.
With 2 cents.
That was always the goal, though. It was just like, if you take everything that you got, do the best you can with the amount of money that you do have, make it world-class. Take yourself and your work, take your work seriously, that it matters, and people will see that. And you've done a great job with that at the store and with all the products. But it's interesting because if it's all based on people, I want to encourage artists, entrepreneurs to not make it about making the money, because I don't believe we wanted money. What we really wanted, we wanted freedom to do what we'd always dreamt of. That drove us. It's like, yeah, but dude, if we do this, we can do the store. And like, we were always motivated about expansion of innovation to be able to do more and have more fun.
It's funny you say that because just recently, being a Christian, in my newfound faith over the last few years, I look at God as the creator, right? Mm-hmm. He's painting a picture. He's painting life for us all. Yeah. And I think that it's instilled in a lot of us, Noah, to be creative. When I fix something at my house, I enjoy doing it. Yeah. When I create something or make something, it's very enjoyable. So you think about, God, how he must enjoy his creation as well, right? There's got to be joy in his heart.
Right.
And so I look at that now and I look at it such a crazy way that it's just like we have a conscience built into us. Mm-hmm. We also have this ability. I think a lot of us like to be creators. And so art is very, as you say, biblical to the point where we're helping finish God's painting, by doing life and doing this creativeness together. Yep. So I just recently it's been on my mind so much, with God blessing me with what he has in a new direction and what we're trying to do together. I shouldn't say try, we are. Yeah. We're doing this together in a different way, now. And so Coast, Creative Concepts, along with what we're doing with Beyond the Brush and everything, it serves so many multiple purposes, but I think it's perfect timing because of people not trusting the internet.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is, boy, do I wish I had, I did it all by trial and error and fumbling through and learning the School of Hard Knocks, because I started the business at 16 selling art door to door. And then when I met you, I would go, like when I did Craig T. Nelson's trailer back in the day, back then that was about $100,000 project.
Right.
Based on today's dollars. Yeah. And I'll never forget, I said, yes. No, I knew I could do the art, but I had no idea, like, what kind of primer do I use? What kind of paint do I use? How do I get this thing? I have to sand this entire thing.
And you want it to last.
And you want it to last. You want it to look good. And you're doing this for a celebrity. Yeah. And this has to work. And you want to do this again someday.
Picture Craig T. Nelson going around the track and his paint job's falling off.
Yeah, that's right. So this is, I'll never forget it though. This is one of the biggest breaks because this is a 52-foot transport trailer that took his entire race team around. And I went and met him in Malibu. I actually went on the back lot of Universal, showed him the concepts that I had done. But I'm like looking at this thing going, wow, I could have imposter syndrome that I'm terrified that I have no idea how this thing is going to be done. But I know I can do the art. I just drew it. It's right here in the concept. How do I translate that to the actual thing? How do I project it? Which projector should I use? Well, do I do this in a warehouse? Do I go rent a warehouse? Are there places you can place it with a truss? Which paint should I use? What kind of gun? Well, a gun to paint something that big. What kind of compressor? Air supply, mobile. There's no electricity. All of that stuff. Boom, came over to Coast.
Yep.
All right. Never done this before. break this down. And you and I sat and systematically literally broke this thing down step by step, because you have to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this whole time I'm thinking, I don't have a mentor to talk to, but I'm thinking, dude, there's no electricity in this place. I got to run air for 2 weeks on a gas supplied compressor that I rented from, who was it? AAA Rentals down from you?
Yeah, AAA.
AAA.
Yeah. All kinds of places.
So I rented it from them, went back to you and just said, okay, like, how does this house of color system work?
Yeah.
Right. And I was going through was it pagan gold?
Oh yeah. Pagan gold.
Pagan gold. Yeah.
One of my favorite colors.
Yeah. So
Candy pagan.
I'll never forget having to do that. Then I'm like,
being Christians, that kind of strikes a
totally,
nerve now when I think about it.
Pagan gold.
Pagan gold.
Yeah. Paint that idol pagan gold.
It's pagans.
But I'll never forget that project too, because it was nerve-wracking that to get that thing sanded, 52-foot trailer on both sides, everything.
Yeah.
Scotch brighted. We went through boxes of it, but I had to like recruit a dozen guys to do it. And
ready to give up halfway through the job.
But without that mentorship, without that guidance, I'm thinking of all the guys that are coming up right now, which is why Dave and I are on this episode so excited to share like a lot of the stuff that we want to do, like this mentorship / coaching / community of people of like-minded builders, makers that want to have an entrepreneurial life, but dude, we want to help provide all the upgrades, like served on a silver platter, so that they don't have to like trial and error, hit and miss, right?
Yeah.
But dude, that case study of that trailer for me was one of the signs of like, imagine doing life alone. I mean, it just sucks.
And although the internet's there and we don't feel we use that to stay connected, it's never made us more alone. And let me explain.
Yeah.
In business right now, we never saw over the last few years so many people that have borrowed money from grandma and grandpa or mom and dad to start their business, right? Go out and then they get somebody telling them, oh, this is the paint to use. This is why you should use it. And you're the best painter. They're not telling them the truth.
Yeah.
So they really don't care about you. They're just trying to get your money. Yeah. Whereas we sometimes lose a sale because we're telling them the truth, right? It's true.
Yeah.
And much like in Christ,
you
know, I didn't want to hear the truth. I mean, Lord knows that. I'm going to look at the sinner I am, right? Anyway, so I look at people that way and I tell them that now that there isn't those vehicles or mentors.
Yeah.
How critical it is and how much of a money saver and a time saver that is, but also your reputation. Yeah. Say these guys do 10 cars and 5 of them come back.
Yep.
Their business is nuked. Yep. And we've literally had people on the phone crying and me trying to help them out with products they bought elsewhere. And had they come to us first, like you said, I take the time with that individual. We believe in building one customer at a time.
That's right.
Teach a man to fish, right? And he'll never go hungry.
That's right.
And that is our mentality with our way of business, which is no longer thought of anymore. Yeah. We need our customer support. And when we see people losing that, it also loses our potential to have a customer. That's one less person we can sell to. Mm-hmm. So financially for us, it's devastating because we help build the market with our own dollars. That's a devastating thing. So I want to stress on what you're stressing about with the mentorship. That is what is so important to the people listening to this or watching this podcast, is that we're there to help and guide you. Self-serving to a degree, obviously, you know, we're getting something for it too, but our message is also a lot different these days as older men. You know, we serve a higher power, but we also serve our families. We're hyper focused on what is really important. Yeah. And I think that's the difference between, you know, what you'll see on the internet with somebody just with a quick, hi, I'm Dave Monnig, I'm here to sell you an airbrush. Right. Other than I truly care about what you're using. Yeah. And so do you. I see that in the way that you're wanting to help people, and you've helped me. So amazing.
Well, you'll see it down in the notes, the show notes down below and on ramps, but this is an exciting moment for Dave and I, because you and I have developed this, taken all this passion, all of these 35 years combined, we're at 70 years together of all of what we've learned up to this point, and pushing that to the middle of the table to be able to say, hey, you can learn from this, you can learn from it and get guidance. And, you know, you and I created Beyond the Brush, which is an online free training that people can take down below. But more importantly, the Coast creative community, from the standpoint of, we wanted to create a community of like-minded folks that are all going after the same thing. I believe every man, woman wants to make a great living at the life that they love, doing work that they love. Yeah. And at the same time, doing it in community with a bunch of other people. Because we used to have that back in the day. Yeah. And then internet, everybody kind of scattered. COVID, everybody scattered even more. Everybody went to isolation, collaboration, less shows, less events. But we can build this global online community of bringing everybody together and saying, hey, what does it look like if you have the training, you have the mentorship, you have the community, you can bounce ideas off of each other. There's nothing funner. Literally, there's nothing funner than painting and creating something and go, I can't wait to post it.
Parties.
I can't wait to post this to my community and get everybody's feedback on it. It was like, it's
awesome.
so fun.
If I could just reiterate though, too, this isn't a cult. We're not trying to, I mean, I know you laugh at that, but so many things can come off as kind of cultish or, like what's, these guys just want to make money or this or that. Of course, we want to make money. Everyone wants to make a living, but I want to stress that the trusting but verify. Trust us, but verify it. That we're not going to just sit there and tell you, oh, we're going to share our life experiences, the good and the bad. But what I want to mention is that, the evidence that we have. Like I read the Bible for evidence. The more I read, the more I, you can verify, so you're not just following some book, and so what we do is we provide the evidence, which is the technical data. We're talking from guys in lab coats, not just somebody in their backyard just mixing mad mud pies, and that's kind of what's going on in our industry right now, literally. So we have evidence to show you, hey, trust us, but hey, let me show you this documentation from a lab report that shows the toxicology all the way down to how long this will last in the UV sun, how long it'll last in cold temperatures, so that you aren't throwing your money away, so that you provide a service and a product to your customer that's going to, what is your best advertising? Word of mouth. Isn't going to distrust you and say, oh man, that paint job came apart or it cracked. That is the thing that I want to stress the most, is this isn't a cult. This is where, like you said, Noah, we're actually looking for people that are like-minded, but the best of the best that want to understand their craft. Yeah.
And the big side for me on this is those that want to do life really leaning into getting the most out of it. I'll give you an example. I've had clients that don't invest in themselves, in their personal development as a leader, as a business owner, as a husband, as a father. And so they're kind of following themselves and kind of winging it. And they'll kind of just take little things on social media or watch a quick little something or listen to a podcast and think, oh, I got it. Now I can go do it. Sure. That's a very long road and a lot of trial and error. Now, there's something to be different if, like, let's say you're part of a community. You've trusted and verified the product. That's the craft and the product side. Bring the business side of it and go, okay, hold on a second. This guy actually has done what I've done.
Yes.
Okay, let's say a mural, for an example. I'd say, this is how I did prep the mural. This is the product that I used for the mural. This is how we cleared the mural. Here's how we did anti-graffiti on the mural. Here's how I set it up to where I made 4 times more than the average guy with pricing. And then people start to really pick her up. It's like, what do you mean? How did you get 4 times more pricing? I only got this price. I'm like, paradigm shift. Wouldn't have found that out unless you were in this like-minded, everybody going after the same thing. So you got to have the craft knowledge of trust and verify. You got to have the technique of business, trust and verify with those that are ahead of you.
We're going to have people that we're going to interview that'll only be accessible, not to general social media, but in our community. Other successful painters and artists,
without a doubt,
that will tell you, hey, I use a quality product and this is why. And I get 4 times more and this is why. So you're not just listening to Noah and Dave, right? Because that's the Noah and Dave show. It's the everybody show. And we include our trials. And I'll give you an example, Noah. I'm a prime example of somebody that fought for that success for many, many years, got to a level of what my wife likes to call my entourage, my rock star life, only to have it completely taken away from me. I wasn't following the template in business. And you know what? I can point the finger at my suppliers that I feel kind of did me wrong. And in a way, I mean, but did I have a contract? Would Noah have had a contract?
We could have done things tighter.
If I would have listened to you, I wouldn't be in the predicament that I put myself in. And I can't go pointing fingers at the suppliers. It was up to me to have that contract. And so how important that would have been. Now, God had his plan for me. And so that I'm grateful. So, if you can look for the good in the bad situation, but it literally 2 years ago, and I don't want to go dark, but let's just say, I had a rope around my neck, literally. And, when you get to that point of fracture, it's disturbing. It's absolutely just breathtaking to talk about at times, but I want to share that with people with us. I don't want them just to see, oh, this this false success story, or I want you to also see my failures so that you don't go through them. And so had I listened to your program, I literally would have had contracts. And if something would have gone sideways, I would have been compensated, I would, or at least had the ability or the opportunity to get compensated. So I want to stress that a lot.
I appreciate it. I mean, the road to this point was a massive minefield to navigate. Yes. A lot of unexpected rogue waves, but also self-inflicted wounds that needed to be there, right? So if you're following yourself, you're lost. When I look at your path and all of what brought you here, you savor glory way more now because you've had a taste of all the other. However,
coffee tastes better.
Oh, totally.
The air is cleaner. I mean, my eyes, as they say, we have eyes to see and ears to hear. Every song I hear, there was
everything has more meaning, and you see things through God's lens.
Oh yeah,
and gratitude is just overwhelming. It's crushing.
Was a year, Noah, in my life, I was in utter fear, like when someone scares you. I felt like that for almost nearly a year. I didn't listen to music. I was afraid of water. The kid who grew up surfing, sailing, and wakeboarding, and I wouldn't go in water. I mean, I was literally in that much fear that I was scared, almost like they say, scared straight. And so, I don't wish that on anybody. And if someone was there that could have told me the truth, or as I say now as a Christian, I should have read the directions, and now my marriage has never been stronger. Yeah. Like, I was on the way for a divorce. Yeah. And my marriage has never been stronger because we live for that higher power. And it gives me goosebumps to think about how much I love my wife now and what an adulterer I was. I mean, you get success and you look at rock stars and celebrities and we judge them, but those are people that have no one to mentor them. Just people that are takers, the consumers. And you get to a point where I don't know if I could say her name right now, but you look at like someone like Britney Spears. I pray for her where I was one of those guys that would make fun of her. Like, look at this girl. She's got all the money in the world. Why is she dancing around like a nut job? But I look at her and I go, how lost, and how she has no one to help guide her, that there's nothing there. And so if anything with this podcast, it's the sincerity of us being very open and talking about our down times and our up times. Yeah.
Well, that dark night of the soul for me, success with the ladder leaned up against the wrong building, and it was the building of self-made, dues paid.
You're in control.
Self-promotion. You're literally coming into every situation, every job, every community, looking for what you can get versus what you can give. And life goes from being you only have two options in life. You can either be a parasite on life, suck everything dry, even on the human race, just suck everything out of it,
or get sucked,
or or literally you're going to contribute, but most can't even get over themselves to find out even how to do that.
I felt for like myself.
You just wrung out.
I felt at my point of fracture, I felt like I couldn't write enough zeros on a check for the people to keep them in my lives that I thought I had power over. And I thought I had control over them because of what I'd done for them. Yeah. But as we know as Christians, there's no amount of good deeds. And so that's a great lesson there, that there's no guarantee your friend's going to show up when you need them, but when you do life together and you have a higher purpose, there's people I know I could call, and there's a good chance they're going to be there. But I felt like a towel that had been wrung out. Like literally every drop, and it just, and then afterwards, the snap in the locker room right in the butt. Just I was done.
So in simplest form, I want everybody to understand, you could be going through a period or season of being humbled. Oh, right. I call it having your ass handed to you. Yeah.
Being humble is absolutely.
And it came multiple times in life. And the smartest thing that you can do, in a wonderful book, there's the process, and John talks about this in Fathered by God. But when you talk about the journey of masculinity, going from beloved son to cowboy to warrior.
Did you say
to
cowboy?
Lover. Yeah. Okay. Cowboy's in the very beginning. But when you come up to warrior and you're trying to prove to yourself and to God and your fellow man that you have what it takes, most men, it's like, I want to spend my life proving that I can do it, that I have what it takes. And if you didn't hear it from your dad, you're going to want to hear it from somebody. And we were both there to tell each other that we had what it takes. That's why you're so important in my life.
I've only been a man for about 9 months. Huh? I've only been a man for about 9 months now.
Yeah. You're like, pop out of the womb and you're like,
You
I'm a grown up now.
Yeah, you realize, I was, I wasn't being a good husband. I wasn't being a good father.
Yeah.
I was not following the rules. And so, I put self first.
Yeah. You got to
That's
grow
not
up.
being a man.
You got to grow up quick. So once you go into king after lover, shows you that sensitivity and that understanding of, I don't have anything to prove anymore. I have to put the sword down because I don't need to swing. And most of us in entrepreneurship want to swing at everything that moves.
Oh yeah.
But the moment we can put
That's
that
me.
down, the Lord's like, hey, I'm your investor. I'm the one that put you on this earth for a purpose. You're going to use creativity and this thing called an airbrush as your weapon to literally the mission statement for our company with the art is using creativity and story to bring hope to the world. So if God's placed you on the planet on purpose for his purpose through that creativity that he gave you, he took his entrepreneurship and creativity, put it inside of you, and that's being fostered every single day. That is no longer a life of self.
Right.
When you look at Gladiator, he was not fighting for himself. He was fighting to serve the king.
Yeah.
So the king that I serve with my business, you're on a mission.
Yeah.
And every single day you go into work, it's a mission field.
Oh yeah.
And every single day you go in there,
everywhere.
every single time you put that thing in your hand, every single time you have a conversation is an act of worship.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well be singing a praise song. How did that call go? How did that transaction go at the counter? How did that coaching call go? How'd that podcast go? Doesn't matter. All territory of your life, my mission in life till the day I'll die, it's like, I don't care what you do for a living. My job is to help you leverage every square inch of the farmland that God's entrusted to you in this life and maximize it to be a performing asset.
Do it in a joyful way. I mean,
Dude,
there remember
having
times at Coast being so frustrated, like you said, wearing so many hats and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Whack-a-mole, dude.
Yeah, whack-a-mole, you'd always say. And there, remember the times where it's literally kicked me in the butt. I can remember with the phone one time being so frustrated, and when we had phones with cords on them. Remember, I think you heard that story where I was like, I threw the phone, and it slingshotted back. It came back and hit me right in the forehead. Or, the glass cabinets, or me throwing things back in the day. I would get to a point of such fracture.
Tantrums.
And now, I'm driving to work, and literally the first day, because there's an accident the other day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, wow, a day where the freeway is mine. I literally, God just opened up the freeway, right?
Clean air.
There wasn't a car around me for 100 yards. A rock comes out of nowhere, right in the center of my windshield. Smack, big old crack. And I just laugh, and I kind of look up at God and go, because the old Dave would have been like kicking the windshield out and been freaking out. Yeah. And I just laughed and I said, I can fix this. No big deal. It's just like, now you look at it as a gift that those trials, those difficult times strengthen you in such a way to where I didn't exert any energy. I didn't burn up calories even getting angry and mad. But what I did do is I walked right into Coast and got creative. I had this energy to be creative and create. And I'm looking now, and we say that's God, right? That's just putting this in me now. I'm doing all these projects. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm like, I didn't study. I didn't go look. I didn't research. All of a sudden, it's just like flowing into me. And it's the natural ability now that I just see, as we say, a higher power is just working in me now to like make these things happen. And in my schedule, like you promote, is very timed now. And I do that with my life. I put, God, wife, children, and I spend time to go talk to my daughter, where I'm like, would have been, hold on, I got a customer on the line. Hold on, honey, I got to do this. Or at dinner. Oh, it's Noah. I better take a call. I watch you, and I use you as an example just yesterday to somebody where I go, my buddy, I know Noah's schedule better than my own. I do, because I know when I can see when you have your calls silenced, and I go, how is it that I know my friend's schedule better than my own? Because I don't have one. And so I developed a schedule where I go to my men's groups and I don't miss. If I'm sick, if my foot's hanging off, I'm going to duct tape it back on and I'm going to get there. I'll go to the doctor later.
Totally.
It's going to get fixed. And so it has been amazing that all this time I've known you, and I watch your structure, that I wasn't knowing that God was actually using you as an example to discipline me to develop my own structure. And I was developing it anyway, but then reiterating it and using you to see, silence. So now I turn my phone off, go to silence. There's no calls coming in.
You gotta have those boundaries.
I'm absolutely focused on my wife, where I would drink too. Like, it's been a long week, at work, or we go to the movies. My wife decides, we go to the movies where you can order alcohol. She gets a glass of wine the other day, But I say to myself, this is a date. I don't even want to have one beer or nothing. I don't want alcohol in my system. Why? Because I want to be 100% present for my wife.
There's something you want more.
Yeah. And I want it to be present for her and myself.
Yep.
To where if she just happened to look over in a funny point in the movie or a sad point in the movie, that we could have that connection.
Yeah.
And what a gift that is, because the creativity, again, if we take this back to work,
yep.
As my wife, it strengthens me to walk in that day with a smile on my face and go, wow, where did I get this idea? Oh, just because there was no tension. I was living a structured life. And again, going back to what we're doing here, sharing that with people, how it impacts us. So I can't thank you enough for helping develop that schedule in my life.
Well, you're welcome. It's, I don't know, the best way to, I just keep getting like tings in my gut right now about what we were talking about with Parasite on Life. And I want the viewers and the listeners to think about this for a minute. If you want to grow your brand and become extremely successful, lay down your life for others. And if I was to say, I want to make 100 grand, if you want to make 6 figures, you want to make 100 grand this year, doing art, creativity, selling phones, cleaning carpets, digging ditch. I don't know what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you right now, I literally like kind of put a self-imposed gun to my head, feet to the fire of like asking that question. Like, if I was in a trade that I couldn't make, that I'd never known, let's say carpet cleaning, and you drop off a van and you go, no, you got to make 100 grand by the end of the year. You got a couple months to do it. The way that I would do it is I would walk around and I'd start knocking on doors and I go, hi, what's your name? My name's Linda. I'm like, Linda, I'm new to the neighborhood. I want to bless you today. I'm going to clean your carpet. Which room would you like to have done?
Yeah.
And then you go in there and you blow their mind.
You got to put yourself out there.
And what do you think they do? What do you think they do? They go, that's incredible. What's it going to take to do the rest of the house? I'm like, that's great. I'm not here for that. I just want to bless you to show you what's possible with my product. And I want to serve you. And let's say you do end up doing it. Well, you're going to make money cleaning the rest of our house, and you probably got a customer every single quarter to come back because now you got your systems and your process in place. But then here's what gets really exciting. Linda, give me the names of 3 people that you respect, your dearest friends. You are going to call them and you're going to tell them that I'm coming over. It's your gift to them.
Yeah.
So that's how I built my business.
Was
how do you go and serve the crud out of people?
Yeah.
Love on people. And I want this to be very clear, because you've done a wonderful job. Remember the whole trust verify thing?
Yeah.
I can tell, like even when I saw you the first time at Createx on that floor that day when we met and we were like 19, and I look and I go, there's no bullcrap with him. People can sense like BO or repellent if this is shisty, if there's something off here, or what's the real motive? Why are they really doing this?
Right.
If I bring in, if any of you, and some of you have probably experienced this that are watching this or listening to this right now, if you go into Coast and you're like, dude, I have no idea why this thing isn't working, Dave does not, or Dave's dad would not go, well, our repairs typically are going to run between $500 and up or whatever. No, you just grab that sucker, you start banging on it with a crescent wrench, and you start figuring out, oh, it's just this, boom. And you're like, bro, that's on the house. And you're just like, no, people want to throw money at you when they're served.
They do.
And that's not your motivation though either. You're not motivated by money. You're motivated by transformation. Yes. You're motivated by people. There's nothing greater for Dave Monnig than to watch a person going out. They got the right information. They're going to go crush this job. We both win because he's going to make more money and live a better life. And he's going to want to continue to buy product. Everybody wins in this scenario.
You're building a good customer.
Correct. But it starts with, how do you serve the snot out of the people that are standing right in front of you, including your wife and your kids and your friendships and your life? You're either going to approach life, I'm here to get, and suck and consume, or suck, or you're just going to serve.
Yeah.
It's not even, I love the word giving, but I really do believe when I see what Christ did for me, homeboy came to serve.
Yeah.
He came to wash my feet.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, that just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Right. And so that's why generosity, you're serving people with no cost on some occasions where they're just like, well, this doesn't make sense to me. Generosity is disruptive, dude.
You got to build a community.
You know what I mean?
Noah. You know, if there's not a trash man, your trash isn't getting picked up. You don't have a guy that takes care of water, you got no water. You got to have a community. And so Coast, creative community that we have is that backbone. You know, we're not just selling product, we're selling ourselves to a degree to let people know, hey, we care enough about you to tell you the truth. And I just recently at SEMA ran into an artist, and artists can be very introverted. You know, that's just by nature, just what happens. And there's this one guy who comes up to me. I was asked to go look at a Lumalor paint job. It wasn't lighting up. And I says, hey, will you come take a look at this guy? And I go over to him, and the painter's there, who did the job. And he's kind of a little standoffish. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Casual. Oh, he opens up the conversation by going, Dave, because he sees me trying to help. I didn't really like you much. I didn't really know, I thought, well, here's this guy, and this and that because of my stature in the industry or who I am. Yeah. But he goes, I saw you one time at a show and you were talking to a bunch of people. I go, oh, big mystery there. And
again, the gift of gab.
And I literally kind of got back on him for a second because he goes, yeah, and he didn't really give me the time of day. I said, well, did you talk to me? Well, no.
Right.
Did you go up to me and ask me a question?
Totally.
No. So I put it right back on him where, I said, well, you have to do that. Yeah. You have to converse. You have to engage in
put yourself out there. Take a step.
I can't read minds yet. I'm working on it.
This man, I sense, wants to talk to me.
And so, if you have a question, you have to ask it. Right. And so I said, you have to be bold. Yeah. And I'm that way sometimes with people where, you're reserved to not want to say anything to them, but it's a two-way street with customers. That's right. And the communication. Yep. Communication is key. And I look at that moment, and now the guy's like, all of a sudden that led to me purposely sharing his piece on our page. Working with the other guy he's working with to do another project with Coast that will obviously further educate him on the product that he had trouble with, which is a difficult product, and and benefit him. So I'm like, this is the community that we have. You can join it, and here's what I find a lot of people don't want to do with me because they see me as, and I hear this all the time, Dave, you're so busy. Dave, you're so busy. And I am, and I have to make time for family and everything else. But like you said, coming up with what we have with our program, you're able to schedule time. You're literally able to go on there, and I'm a part of a community, and Dave has an open window on his calendar, and there it is on the app. I'm going to push that button. And I'm going to book that 1 hour uninterrupted time with Dave. Yeah. How awesome is that? Yep. No distractions. The dog doesn't need to be let out. I mean, nothing's going on but me being able to ask Dave the questions I want to ask.
Absolute focus.
And so that is incredible. What the value that I see somebody having in that, because I have 35 years of data in here. Yep. And it's a lot.
What blows me away is, so the techniques that I use on the Fast and Furious cars and modeling that, pricing, there were 6 cars in total, building the publishing company, the stuff with Disney, publishing the books, building all the fine art stuff, and licensing, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking like 12 to 24 dimensions of business of scaling your creativity, right? It blows me away. And I just want to encourage, this is going to maybe hurt a little bit and stretch our listener and viewer, but if you met with Dave, and regardless of what your coaching rate is for an hour, that's an investment. You can use that in your business as an investment. That investment of what you learn in 60 minutes, potentially not just changes the thousands more you can make on the job, on that specific project, the thousands it will save you in fees of trial and error.
Absolutely.
Then here it is. What nobody sees is the lifespan of that one trick. Millions, dude. Yeah. This is what I try to tell everybody. I go, they say Geico 15 minutes can change, it can change your life. I'm like, bro, you sit down with veteran trial and error, not maybe you should try this. No, I've done this.
Yes.
And I want you to get the fast track to making 10x, 100x what you would normally make in 100x less the time. Go hang out with your family.
My luxury, Noah,
dude,
is 35
I just
years
love that.
Of people calling me with their problems. And instead of not having a reputation of, we just, like you said, we can't help you like the internet does. It doesn't help. Jeff Bezos doesn't answer questions. I tell people, I go, give me his number.
Like a help desk.
I'm like, here's Jeff Bezos' number. Give him a call, see if they'll help you. Yeah. No one's there to help anymore. And the people that are, this is an interesting topic too, because I look at people so strangely that when I buy something from somebody, if something goes wrong, I don't go to the internet
Yeah.
to ask people, hey, what do you think I should do?
Right.
You get 9,000
For
different
sure.
answers.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, from people that might be some kid in his
Yeah.
grandma's basement
Oh, yeah.
who literally just got into this last week and read one book.
For sure.
Or saw something.
Yep.
And now, again, the internet is just multiplying those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We used to go to the internet because it was authority figures. It was people that have been doing, like companies that would come up chronologically. Oh, been in business 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, right? Now it's like, it's a fake AI generated building with workers that don't exist.
Right.
And it's literally,
Yeah.
it's Fugazi.
It's
not real.
Yeah.
You know? And so I look at that and I go, what?
Yep.
You would trust that. And I go, well, I hope when you go to a doctor, you know, he's not somebody that just like fabricated himself online.
Yep.
And, you know, you want to know it's a licensed practitioner.
Learn. And dude, and that would be one of the other keys is, you know, we talked about serving. We talked about that whole idea of being everything that you can for the person that's right in front of you for a minute. But where you're at right now with this trust and verify and working with what you have today is you don't have trusted, reliable sources of people that have done it.
No.
And the greatest thing,
or if they have, they've done it for a whole 12 hours.
right. The only thing that I can tell you, the greatest thing that you could do at this point is to stay and become the most learnable person, if that's even a word. Remaining, that's one of the prerequisites for becoming a king, growing up, maturing, becoming more holy, becoming more responsible, having more agency, taking more ownership for who you are as a man or a woman, is this whole idea of I'm willing to stay in a posture of learning. I don't know it all. Dude, I'm 54 years old, still meeting. I have a full team of mentors. Not one, a team of mentors in my upline. From business to family to marriage to finances to stewardship to building my family legacy and trust and structures and generosity and giving, all of that. I have a up team combined. He's 70 years old. He's 70 years old. He's 60 years old. And when you look at this upline, I'm still doing that at 54 to then be able to take and implement that in my downline. Yes. This community, you guys, one, remain learnable. Two, ask yourself this question. Are you surrounding yourself with people that have the results you want? You know, as they say, well, who's your mentors and who's your coaches and who do you go after? I go after the men and pursue time at sitting at the feet of these men that have the outcomes I want. They have the marriage I want. They have the finances I want. They have the lifestyle I want. They have the relationship with God that I want. These men have established deep roots. They're oak trees. They're not, like you say, freshly planted that get uprooted really quick.
Yeah.
So in business, in creativity, in running the industry, you're going to be able to look at the landscape and go, this is freshly planted. That'll be uprooted. That's a legend. But the legends aren't here to go, look at how badass I am. They go, how badass can I make you? They want to help you become who God's called you to be. Totally.
And that's our generation. We were laughed at when we did the urethane kits. And we took it on the chin. We didn't uprise.
There were all those chirpers with the grenades from the sidelines.
We said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we respected that. And nowadays I go to SEMA, I see companies in the business winning a trophy from a company that isn't even related to SEMA with no car in their booth. It's in last time I checked SEMA,
it's vanity metrics.
Well, it's a car show. It's a aftermarket car part show.
Yes,
and you're winning a trophy for best booth from a company that isn't related to SEMA.
Right.
And so it all is these little tricks of like, oh, I'll give you a trophy and you give me a trophy and we'll just make it social media. And I want a trophy. So yeah, I guess we live in a world now where everybody wins a trophy.
Oh, dude.
And so you're really not getting the truth, much as us as Christians, you don't want to hear the truth. Is it really a trophy? Are you being rewarded for your effort? No, you're literally, I look at it as if someone gave me a trophy for something I didn't earn, I'd have to respectfully decline and say, I don't deserve this trophy. And how it would make me feel is like, what? I didn't do anything to earn this. And so I'm looking at the industry that we're in. And I also look at the SEMA show. Hey, not knocking it. Anything that you can get is great. But dude, there was a time where you couldn't even get through the aisles and you couldn't videotape a car.
It was the place
There
to be
wasn't
seen.
a moment
Oh,
I could walk anywhere I wanted and videotape anything. And literally it was like everybody wins a trophy. And I'm going, Suki's car that was there.
Yeah.
Literally a car that, as an example, you're making money on, that was done how long ago? How many years ago?
I painted the Fast and the Furious cars in...
That was a long time ago.
2004, 5, 6, something like that.
So here's a car that came out of the Peterson that went to show at SEMA, that's that old, that you recently have licensing, that you're making money on. I use that as an example to tell others. I go,
well, dude, I just got the Lego.
I know.
It's crazy.
Isn't that awesome? So here's a paint job that you did that you're still getting paid for.
Weird.
What other automotive people are doing that? They're not.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you guys are missing out on the bigger picture. You know, not only can you be getting paid more for the quality and talking to your customer, the guys that I know that use quality stuff, they're booked up. They're not online showing off, and they're being humble, but they're more importantly showing how they have those customers because of the quality of the products that they use. Yeah. You know, they're on a regiment. Yeah. And so I'm like, this is what we need to show people. Right. You know, what you're saying and the licensing, like everything, and not that these people that are going to this show and saying, hey, I was a painter at SEMA. Yeah. Just because they were told, hey, you know, fill up our booth, you know, or be there. Yeah. Be honest with yourself and earn your way and say, hey, is my work really up to par? Am I really offering something of quality? Yeah. Can I stand behind it? Yeah. That's the success that is going to push on through. Yeah. Not the lies, not the falseness of like, yeah, man, I was this painter at SEMA, and then next week they're jumped onto another thing. Yeah. And that bugs me more than anything when someone says today, this is the best product you're ever going to use. Yeah. And next week they're using something else. Totally. And then that week after that, they're using something else.
It's fair weather.
And I'm like, okay, how do you trust that person?
Totally.
You know, it's gone.
Well, that's our job, is full transparency, understanding, helping you make, helping you get to the sweet spot of making as much money as you possibly can, the least amount of time that you can, doing the work that you absolutely love, seeing your marriage come alive, your kids come alive. I mean, that's the whole reason why you're
without standing on top of that bridge.
Without it, totally. So I like to wrap up every episode of the show with you asking me whatever questions that you want. Typically 1 to 3 questions. They don't need to be long, but I can just bullet point riff them really quick, and then we'll wrap it up. But yeah. You get your chance to turn the table.
There's always a lot of questions I'd like to ask you. You know, it's just, you know, your creativity and just what you're doing, but more along the lines of maybe reiterate like the pricing. You know, again, you know, we've talked about that already, and I just think that if you could show some examples, like my question to you is, when you have that confidence, what could you do? Maybe not necessarily just for me, but for our listeners and viewers, that, you know, you could tell them what gave you the confidence to charge and not retreat. In other words, not compromise. But I was going to reiterate that when we are talking about quality products, you could be the artist telling your customer, oh, I use KD3000. I use this primer that you know about, that you learned from, like, say, me, but they might not know what that is.
Well, and they don't care.
But it builds confidence. Yeah. That's one of the things that I share with the customer. What do you share? Like, what are you going to do to instill confidence in somebody? Like, what kind of tangible information do you give another artist to artist, to like give them the confidence to hold firm in their pricing? Well,
if you look at and on the training Beyond the Brush that you'll have links down to below, there's a few of these things that I'm going to cover at length, like really in detail on the training. But it's always a part of my DNA of the clients that I coach. And so I'll kind of run through a quick system here, but I'll share it with a case study of one of my clients yesterday. She's an amazing woman she's super young, in her 20s, built a 300,000 following of moms across America.
Well, that's my second question was going to be to you. I was going to say, you know, could you tell me of some examples recently of people that have followed your template? Yeah. So again, that our viewers are not just trusting you as some cult leader. Sure. That you have. Let's verify. I want to ask you about the verification. Like, do you have some examples of results of people you mentor? So I guess I'm throwing two questions at once at you.
This will all come together. So one of the reasons why people aren't successful, and myself included back in the day, is I didn't have my house in order. And what does that mean? It's like if somebody were to come and hit you really quick, they can't articulate really quick in an elevator speech. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's how I do it. And here's how you can work with me. So I'll repeat that again. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's how I do it. And here's how you can work with me. So for a custom painter, an artist or a creative entrepreneur, they might say, oh, this is who I am. I'm the brand. Here's what I do. I make these things. And here's how I do it. I use airbrush. I use graphic design. I use whatever. But what they don't tell you is how they can work with you. So it's like most brands have two options when you run into them. And tell me if you encounter this every single day. You go into a brand, and if you've ever eaten at the Cheesecake Factory, it's the cheesecake approach. 22 items on the menu, and you get overwhelmed. You're like, frick, dude, I have more stress coming to eat here because I can't think about what the heck I want to order.
Yeah.
Too many options.
Yeah.
Then you go to In-N-Out Burger.
I was going to say In-N-Out.
Simple, stupid, unbelievable, consistent every single time.
I was going to open a restaurant once called Skewer You. No joke. And I had it all written up. And, like T-shirts, the whole thing. You get skewered.
It doesn't surprise me.
Right?
This is an example of what it's like working with Dave.
I
like he's down a rabbit trail right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so In-N-Out, simple, stupid. Here's how you can work with me. So what do I call that? That's your offer, and that's your tiers. What is your offer? And then how do you offer it? So what I did in my pricing was I go low, medium, and high. And then I go ultra high. I built that in my publishing company. I did it with all my assortment with Disney. When you walk in, low, medium, high, extra high, super ridiculous. The reason why that's important is because when I can clearly articulate what my offer is, it provides the customer the opportunity the same way that if you go buy a Toyota and you go, I'm going to buy the SR5, I'm going to buy the Limited, then I'm going to buy the Platinum, low, medium, and high, extra high. And the customer has the opportunity in a simple form to upgrade themselves. Most artists paint one original, buy it. Paint one original, buy it. I'm like, that's like an author writing a book and then selling and rewriting it again.
Right.
A tattoo artist needs another person to sit down and sit in the chair. I wanted to get to a point where it was generating all the time and making more money. So when I'm building this system of saying, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's how I do it, here's how I offer it, and here's the clear articulated offer. Then you got to say, once you have your offer, and here it is, low, medium, high, extra high, then you're going to say, dude, which buyer am I talking to?
Right.
This you brought this up just before we started talking just now on this subject. Here's what I don't do. You're the customer, and the customer walks in and goes, "Oh, I'd love to get this painting." And I go, "Well, I used this amazing molding from Larson Jewel, and it's made with 3 mil plywood and this, that, and the varnish that comes from Belgium and this, that. And then I used this other paint, Comart, mixed with Aeroflash, mixed with this gesso, mixed with this Soluvar varnish that's like," and they're just going, "Why is this guy talking to me about the features and the benefits? I don't care about the benefits. How much is the flipping painting, and can I fit it on my wall?" This buyer in front of you is either psychologically going, "I want value, I want the deal."
Right.
It's like buying a car. I don't care about what's on the sticker. I just want a great deal. Then there's a second buyer. I want to read every 3.5 liter. How much oil will this thing hold? They're the analyst.
They're doing their homework.
They're the analyst. They're the analytic one. So you first got to care. You got to ask your customer.
Right.
What do you like about this? What do you care most about this? Would you like to hear the value, or would you like to hear kind of what went into it?
I did the same thing at Coast.
Yeah, you got to find out what your customer is asking, because otherwise you're throwing rice on somebody. Eat rice.
I get a sense when somebody says, "I just want the best." Okay, I just shut my mouth.
Just shut your mouth and go grab it.
Ring it
boom,
up.
boom.
There
That's
isn't a word
exactly right.
said.
Find out what your customer wants before you take this offer and impress it upon them. So find out, is it products and features? Is it a great deal? And by the way, is it a testimony that you heard from somebody else? Right. You realize that most buyers are just going to walk in and buy it sight unseen. Why? Because somebody told them about it.
Yeah.
You need to go do this. That's all I need.
Usually
that's
it's
all
a
I
good
need to hear.
recommendation, because you don't hear people recommending bad restaurants where they go home and sit on the toilet all night.
Yeah.
You know, you're pretty much going to say, "I've eaten here a few times. I can recommend it."
Yeah. This might sound like a little bit of a rabbit trail, but the reason why I explained what I did is because now this justifies the pricing. Now, if you land it back on pricing, low, medium, and high, extra high. When I bidded the deal for the Fast and the Furious thing, it was every single car, which would have been about 72 cars in the lineup. But I knew it might just be one. Now, if they decided to go more, they would go more.
Right.
And they did go more. But I made sure that, oh no, they want the 72 price. And then it could switch and just go, "Oh no, we just want one."
And it sounds
and then you put yourself in a corner and you're like, "Dang it, why didn't I charge?"
Right.
So what I did was flipped it. And then the second part of it was, made 10x what normally people would make. And then here's even the bigger one. half a day,
Yeah.
all done.
Yeah, I know. You're known for that.
So when
I've watched you paint.
So when
I've
somebody
been there painting cars with Noah.
So when somebody
I
when they
literally
walk,
shake my head at the end of the day and just go.
when I walked in with the invoice and I was done that day, the guy looked at me like, "There's no way." And he walked in, everything was done. He goes, "Yeah, you're done." Like, so this is what I'm getting at.
Do you think that? Can I ask you another question?
Sure. Yeah, it's a longer episode, but I don't care.
Okay, real quick then. Do you think they regret that decision? Because as an example,
Nope.
the style of what you did with that car
Mm.
and the way in which you did it, like the Alpine cars,
Uh-huh.
it's still ahead of its time.
Oh,
And look at the marketing they've done with it.
that's a whole nother
It wasn't
episode.
like vinyl that was on there
Yeah.
and they're going, oh, we're making money.
Yeah.
They have an actual hand-painted image that was stylized.
Oh gosh.
That literally breathes out of you onto the canvas,
Yeah.
which was the car.
Yeah.
The way I see it, as opposed to just some digital image that just would have been forgotten about.
Well, dude,
And now it's
totally.
another toy.
Yeah,
You're-
yeah.
you
A
know,
whole
wow.
nother episode is like subject matter and how do you create
I know.
timeless
They
stuff.
got so much to share.
Yeah, I know. But that's the community part. That's fun. But so when you go to this pricing model, it's making sure that you're smart about getting the most and extracting the most out of the opportunity. I'm not saying like charging your customer the most. What I'm getting at is most artists and creatives are leaving, graphic designers as well, agencies, people that are bidding websites, pricing, carpet cleaners.
Yes.
Their offer is one-dimensional. They have not provided 8 more ways to make income.
Yes.
And what I love is debunking and decoding and looking and sitting across from a creative and get practical on what you asked for, which is the second part of the question, case studies. Talking with one of my clients yesterday who's negotiating big deals with Fortune 500 companies that are going to come on for sponsors for her events.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it was 12.5. Back in the day, it was 25. Now it's 50 to 100. Now her starting point is 150K. Why? Because we looked under the hood and I showed her actually what this is costing her,
Right.
actually what it's costing her with travel and being a single mom.
Correct.
Talk about her profit margins with her vendors, looking at the long-term ripple effects of what happens this year for the next 25 years of her legacy in her life, how this year's relationship with this tech company actually is a seed planted that you can actually eat from for the next 20 years.
Right.
So that's an example. My other buddy who's a designer who was back in the day, his minimum floor to work with him was about 20, maybe 30. Highest ever was 60. His new floor is 150.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Is the work changed? Nope. Work is just as amazing, if not more amazing. He's working way less. He's taking way less clients, doing higher quality work, doing deeper work that has a much longer lasting. And it wasn't about him convincing his customer. It's that he can stand with confidence. You use the word confidence.
Fast, right?
You have to understand who you are, what you know you can deliver, blow their flippin' mind and surprise and delight and over deliver so much that people are just like going,
Yeah.
I experienced this person. I didn't hire this person. When I went into Coast, I experienced Dave in Coast. I don't go there for a transaction of just buying a product and walking out. I have an experience.
Yeah.
So I would hope that people would feel that way when they come to our classes. I mean, people have cried in our classes, Dave. Like,
I know.
So this is what I'm saying. It's like you're coming
That
for
was painful to listen to those guys.
transformation in your business and in your craft. And so when it comes to your pricing and helping you level up to where you can make $1 million as an artist, and I've seen it done, we've done it. But the bigger thing for me is this. The case study also says, I'm a practitioner of what it is I teach.
Right.
I'm not, hey, back in the day, it used to be good. No, what I'm trying to say is our life continues. Thank the Lord for it, because without God's blessing on this and being entrusted with more, we would not. This is God's business, not mine. But I'm telling you, I cannot lead a radical life of generosity. I can't coach my clients to lead a radical life of generosity if they're broke.
Yeah.
So what's my job? To help you, the listener, you, the viewer, Dave and I, is to help you become as successful as possible, where you won't lose your soul. You will become significant in blessing the world and everybody around you with your talent. And you're going to be high-fiving to all the winnings in eternity. I can't think of anything funner in my life, because by the way, this community that we started, we didn't need to go start a community. The difference between you and me, we wanted to. We don't need it. We want it. Why? Because I want to take what we've learned and help others become who God's called them to be. Like, I can't think of a greater use of our time. Dave and I, if you're listening to this, we could have spent time. This isn't spending time. We could have been wasted time. We're not wasting time. This is investing.
Yeah.
We're in the season of life to invest. We consumed. Yes, we produced. We're still producing. Yes, we're still consuming. We're raising families. We got to eat. But this is the time to invest in the next generation that's going to do far beyond more than we've ever done.
Incredible blessings with a community. You know, the amount of people that I know and the journeys I've been on to, you know, it's like just talking about it before this morning, you know, it's incredible to look at a life of, and how we measure success isn't always the currency of the green dollar. You know, it's the currency of how we live our lives.
Yeah, don't chase it.
You know, don't chase it. And so I often talk to students about that. There's many kinds of currency, but two, you know, very different ones. And that's there's money, but then there's your life and your legacy.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm reaching out to friends now, you know, about their legacies. And my legacy is what I'm really interested in doing right now. You know, is my time will come and some younger, you know, punk like myself will come around now.
Kids selling Createx
and replace me. You know, we will all, you know, surrender that to that point to where John Force, you know, just retired. He's not going to get in another car, and that's a pretty monumental race car driver. You know, even if you're not watching NHRA drag racing, you know the name John Force. He's a charismatic character who brought a lot of life and love and craziness to the sport. And so he just announced, you know, he's no longer driving. And I look at him now and I look at what he's created with his kids, and I hope to do that with mine. You know? But it's a wonderful opportunity.
I like the haunting, beautiful reality for me. You and I both, you know, with dads out of our lives, we've been to funerals, we've been to memorials. And the reality for me is whenever I go to a funeral or a memorial, one thing I've never seen at the very end.
I think I know where you're going with this.
They put that slideshow and they play those 3 songs. And I go 12 minutes to just sum up 90 years.
Yeah.
And when I look at Dave Monnig, I look at Noah, I want, you know, true legacy they won't go, oh, look at this career. Look at the things they made. It's going to be about people. And so when I look at that highlight reel, what do I want it to be? We're building that right now in this episode. Who will take what we've shared in this episode in the life's work that we're going to do, and how can we make what, you know, God's beautiful fruit of his gospel and his hope grow on your tree and the trees beyond us? That's a legacy, man. That's the haunting thing for me. I want to pursue the heck out of Chantel. I want to pursue the heck out of the kids.
Now is the time, because we may not have tomorrow.
That's right.
And I share that with my mother, you know, who is still with me. And I'm like, Mom, you know, it's now. It's right now. And that was stress to me, you know, and to see how I've recovered just even over the last 7 months.
Bro, literally physically it's manifested to where you're a completely different person. I praise the Lord for it. And that was the hardest the hardest thing for me was to not jump in the ring. I couldn't rescue you and save you. I could pray for you.
Yeah. You don't have that power.
Dude, all I can do is go, I'm right here.
Yep.
I can't fix it, but I'm here. And that's the one thing I did have control over. It's like I could stay in your ear.
Yeah.
Of just every time you were driving home from Coast. I'm like, all right, what's going on? Well, you know, brother, it's you know, and we would just go through it and we go through it and we go through it. But that is you just got to stay in the game, and you've done so great. I mean, I know there's so many guys and friends and people in the industry they would say, oh, Dave's back. But it is an example that you can be at the end of your rope. And I'm saying literally.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Literally, that's when God can start to do the greatest work.
It's a cliche, but it's so true.
But that's where he can start to do his greatest work.
And iron sharpens iron, my friend, you know, as we know, you know, and so I'd say,
I read that this morning.
I'd say, you know, we're a couple of pretty sharp swords at this point, you know, in our life, that I'm proud to call you my friend. You know,
you too, bud.
We've done life together. You were a groomsman in my wedding, and that I saw it through to help my, save my marriage.
Yeah.
And I not that, getting a divorce, I mean, sometimes that's what happens for people, but, that I had the strength not only to keep trying to go with business and whatever God places me, if he takes me out of the airbrush business, I'll be collecting aluminum cans, or I might be working at the cheesecake factory.
You're resourceful.
In
and out, baby.
Yeah. Telling them what's in the cheesecake,
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to want this piece.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's amazing.
This is very light because it's filled with helium.
That's right. It's filled with helium. Special ingredients.
Yeah.
So,
Do you just use that non-nutritive cereal varnish?
I think people are going to adopt this in such a way, and I think some people might make fun of it like they did with us with the urethane kits. I truly think, and I will take that on the chin, as I know you will.
Yeah.
As like, oh, who are these guys? Who do they think they are? But the ones that do get to know us on that level, I think they're going to be extremely surprised.
Yeah.
They're going to see.
This is the beginning of many other episodes and content, especially in the Coast community, where this is going to be happening every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We jump on with everybody and answer their questions and help them out. So, as we wrap up, first of all, I want to say thanks, dude. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. Let's let everybody know how they can get the help that they need and support. So, one is if you go down to the show notes, you'll be able to see in the comments down below a link to the encore presentation of the training that we did live, and also an opportunity to be able to check out the link for the Coast Creative Community. Dave and I are doing 2 calls per month where we're going to coach the community with question and answer, help them with pricing, helping them bid jobs, helping them with technical aspects, helping them run their life.
Can I jump in here too?
Please.
With a couple of things too? Is that along with that, we want to develop a community of customers that we can give you our dedicated time. It's difficult for us to have a customer that isn't vested in us and give them time when we have other ones that appreciate our time.
Totally.
We want to be able to showcase the ones that are with us that way. And so you're going to get special prices, not anybody else.
Yep.
You're going to get products that are going to be released a month before anybody else. Yep. You're going to get things like just a surprise gift in the mail, just to show our appreciation. We are going to be doing a lot of different, you have access to videos that nobody else has, access to interviews that nobody else has. We're closing it off that way because we want to be vested in you. We want to be, when I'm listening to you, our viewer, our listener, or they're part of our program, I want to give you my undivided attention.
That's right.
I don't want to say waste time on others, because that's not the message we're sending here. Yeah. We want to give everybody the opportunity, but it's not fair to the people that buy something someplace else and then occupy our time when we have customers of ours that we need to be vested in.
Well,
that's the people that we want to focus on.
For 13 years of coaching. Yeah. I can tell you this: people that pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't look at it as, I don't look at it as pay, but I look at it as they're willing to invest in themselves, their business, their family. This isn't just your technique and art. This is about your business and running your life. This is why my show is called Life by Design.
And we did that.
Make sure that you do it.
Subscribe to magazines, or we buy a book, or we buy a video. Yeah. We're really doing the same thing, but we're putting it all into one community.
Correct.
And we're doing things even more now. In other words, it's not just the product. You're getting the coaching. You're getting all these other things that you can trust, but also verify.
Watch this, dude. You want to know the number one thing that the folks that I coach with, here it is. One, they don't need any more theory and they don't need any more knowledge. What they need help with is community, and what I call metabolizing the knowledge that they are getting and get it in their blood system.
Yeah.
So when you come into this community, you have accountability. Mm-hmm. When you come into this community, it gets in your DNA. And if you're constantly getting that, consistently getting that, and you're on that chat and you're seeing this happen on the daily, wherever your focus is, what I tell my clients, wherever your focus is, you become. Yeah. So the more you're steeped in the reality of the life that you want with the people that you want, you become it. Yeah. And so your pricing goes better. You start making more. You start doing more with more people and the right people, and you get more better knowledge. You're not just hoarding knowledge, which, to your point, a lot of people go out there and just, I got it. And that means I got it. No, you haven't swallowed it yet.
You're not locked into a contract either.
Totally. And you haven't produced a product.
Like a gym membership where all of a sudden you're like, oh, why am I paying these guys? I don't even go to the gym anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You can punch out at any time.
Dude, anytime you want.
So that's the kind of,
trust me, you're not going to want to, though. Yeah, you're not going to want to, though, because the value that you're going to get, dude, you're going to be so flipping blown away at how much. I'm taking my entire 13 years of courses, all my master classes, you have as a member full access to me 24/7.
Well, you know what? No, I'm going to one up you.
One-up me, Dave.
I'm going to give away a couple of $400 House of Color kits to just random people that sign up.
I love it. Dude.
Are we going to just try to outdo each other now?
Well, it's like your dad. I'll give you some of this for some of that. Give me this back.
Look, it's a competitiveness between who could give more.
Who can give more?
You know?
Well, we love everybody that's on this call, and I'm sure that as you watch this episode, feel free to watch it again, share it with friends, subscribe. Do me a favor. Down below, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. If you have any questions, click down below and you'll see everything in the show notes. And then we're really excited. Dave and I, Dave's on Instagram at Coast Airbrush. Mm-hmm. I am at Noah Fine Art as well as Noah J. Elias. And then you can direct message us.
And the videos I'm doing now are to get your attention. These are 2 to 3 minute videos that are just snippets of what we'll be giving you, our subscribers, and no one else. So I'll do the quick videos, but there's going to be elaborations on that only people with our program will have access to.
Yeah, members get so much VIP access. For sure.
If you like what you see with all of our tips and tricks videos, that's just a very small taste of what you'll get with everything else.
Well, dude, and the funner part too is like when we do our events that are coming up.
Oh yeah,
we're going to have special VIP dinners and only things that members get access to. Right. So we're going to have some really fun experiences. So this is really exciting. This is a dream come true for both Dave and I. Thanks everybody for watching, for listening, and pray that this takes root in your heart and in your life and produces massive fruit.
Amen.